Hi, if you are new here, thank you for tuning in. My name is Ange, and it's been a while since I have seen y'all, talked to y'all, anything. So today's video, I'm just want to fill y'all in a little bit and tell y'all what's been going on with me, and just like chit chat, just give you a little life update before we get back into the normal content. Or I can't really say normal content because things have changed, so the content will change. And yeah, but let's just get into it. So first of all, why haven't y'all seen me since June of 2022? I literally didn't even realize that it's been that long. That's crazy. And the thing about it is, as life has been lifing and I've been going through it, I've been saying like, I need to pick up my YouTube. I need to pick up my camera because I need to YouTube. Because what would happen is, in the middle of lifing and tearing me up, I would get a notification of somebody commenting on my military videos or saying like, hey, I got questions for you about the Army or about this or about that. And I'm like, yeah, just hit me up. And I'm like, girl, like, just make some videos. So here I am, finally found the time to record a video. So I just want to give y'all some updates since June. So obviously, first things first, if you guys cannot tell or didn't notice, I have braces now. I honestly chose to get braces because I wanted my teeth to be a little bit more straighter. So yeah, I went ahead and invested in them and got them. So that's number one, I would say, is change. Number two is I'm not in the Army anymore. And I know people are like, girl, what? But yeah, I'm no longer in the Army. My contract actually ended October. So last month, actually, my contract ended and I didn't re-enlist or anything like that. So yeah, no longer Army gal. I am a veteran, but no longer, you know, actively going to drills or anything like that. I did 6 years in the National Guard, and I have a love-hate relationship with the Army, and I can go into that in another video. But yeah, I can't say that I regret my decision not to stay in. Honestly, I must say that I feel so much more myself. I feel so much more free. I feel just comfortable not having to worry about drill or the people there anymore. So I'm living. I feel like life has went from like 7 to 8, but when you get out the Army. But that's just my personal opinion. Like I said, I'll go into more detail on another video of like all the reasons why, my pros, my cons, whatever, regrets. But definitely am comfortable with the decision that I made to not re-enlist. So since then, I started a new job. So that was fun. I've been working at this job for a little bit now. It's been a year since I've been working at this job. It's been a year since I've been working at this job. Love it. People are nice. Pay is good. It's like everything that I could have asked for. And I remember before, when I was moving back in December of last year, or November last year, before I moved in December, I remember praying to God, and I was like, God, like, I just really want a better job. Like, the job that I had at that time, it just wasn't for me anymore. I just was transitioning out of the fact of doing insurance, which is what I do normally. I just didn't want to do that anymore, and I just was praying, and I'm like, God, just please bless me with a good job. Next thing you know, y'all, I got an interview. Ended up praying through that interview because I was like, I really need this job. Like, I really need this job. And at the time, I wasn't qualified. I felt like I wasn't qualified for it. So I was really just praying for it, and I prayed through the whole interview process. And I even started to get a little bit discouraged because after the interview they said I should hear back on another day, and literally weeks went past that day, and I was just like, oh, but I just kept praying about it, and I ended up getting a job. And it's just been the best thing for myself and my family. It's so much flexibility for me. I'm able to provide the things that I want to provide for myself and my kids and the extras. So I'm loving it. I really am, and I'm truly grateful and truly thankful for that. So yeah, great job. Definitely a plus. The most important thing that has happened over this time span where you guys have not seen me is that I have rededicated myself to living a Christ-like life. And when I say dedicated myself, I haven't officially been baptized, but I've personally chose to dedicate myself to live a certain type of lifestyle. And with that being said, I'm still a work in progress. I still have a lot of things that I am adjusting and figuring out and making these changes. But overall, I just decided that I want to have a life of peace. And for me, having a life of peace consists of me following the Lord and what He has put in place for me. Like I said, it's all about peace for me. And life is hectic, especially with everything going on in this world. It's so hectic. And I knew even since a little girl that church and the Lord gave me peace. So it was that's kind of where my foundation, let me mute this. That's kind of where my foundation is. Not kind of, so that's where my foundation is. And whenever I would get stressed or worked up or scared, I go back to my foundation. I go back to what's comfortable for me. And I always found that to be me praying and me talking to the Lord and things of that sort. So it was kind of just a decision where it was if I know this is what brings me peace and this is what makes me comfortable and this is what helps me go through life without being so stressed and worked up and anxious, why not? So it wasn't a hard decision at all to make. To a certain extent, I would say, because if you know that when you're walking with the Lord, it's always going to be a hard path, because there's always going to be things that are worldly that you're used to or that you're trying to get away from, that's making it a challenge for you. But I think the benefits and the blessings that you receive from it are way greater than any of the trials or problems that can come about, obstacles that I may have. So yeah, I just chose the path of a little bit more resistance, but I know in the end it'll be worth it. And that wasn't a hard choice for me to make. I also decided to join a Bible study, which is a wonderful, wonderful Bible study full of ladies. And I was inspired at that point to then start one that's more locally to me. And even though it's more local to me, we still do it virtual, but we are wanting to expand it into more of an in-person sessions and things like that. But my whole point of wanting to create that is because I know how God makes me feel. And I wish I can share that with everybody and have them view it the same. And I know that's not always the case. And I just pray everybody gets to that point to get to experience the love that God has to give and really just get to embrace that. And so like I said, with me knowing how I feel and how the Lord makes me feel, I really wanted to get around a group of like-minded women who feel the same way or want to feel the same way, so we can learn together, because I'm still learning. At the end of the day, I don't know everything. I don't know everything about the Bible. I'm still learning the Bible. So just being around a group of girls who we can all learn together, that was something that just really was close to me. So yeah, I went and started a small little ministry, and we get together once a week, and I have about 30 something girls that I'm with. And I just think that's so amazing, because literally it had been on my heart to start something like that. I didn't know even how to start it. I didn't know what I was going to talk about, because like I said, I'm still learning the Bible myself. Even though I'm familiar, I grew up in church and I know these things, I'm still learning. I'm still processing it as an adult. So I was so nervous, but I just followed the the task that was given to me, and I went ahead and started it, and literally overnight it was like 25 girls, and then within a span of a month we're at like 30 something. So it was shocking to me. It was scary when I first did the first session with the girls, because I suck at public speaking, and I really just doubted myself, but I just prayed about it, and it went great, honestly, I must say. And it was a great session, and the girls, they helped me learn a lot. I don't just teach them, because like I said, I'm still learning, they're still learning, so we teach each other. And so it's a good experience for me, and I'm glad I took this task one. Even though I have a million other things that I do, I am very glad that I took this task one. Also, it holds me accountable, because there are days when I'm just not feeling like it, or I'm just getting caught up in what's going on in the world, meaning like, you know, my own personal life. I'm still human, so I still go through everything else that everybody goes through. So sometimes I get caught up in so much of that stuff where it's like, oh man, I could just read my Bible tomorrow, or I can just do some Bible studying tomorrow. And I feel like with me being with these other women, it makes me have accountability, and so it makes me show up, because I'm not just showing up for myself anymore. I'm showing up for a bunch of other girls, who some are here and maybe here because they are inspired by what I'm doing. So I just really, I like that. I like that it gives me accountability. I like that it like forces my hand to be there, because like I said, I'm human and I still get lazy. I still want to procrastinate, but it just allows me to push past that and understand like what really matters. So yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest things that has happened that I'm so grateful for. And then outside of that, the last thing I would say is definitely a plus for me is that I finally was able to start losing weight. If you guys have watched a few of my other videos, you see me in the gym, you see me trying to lose weight, and I finally have pushed the needle on that goal. So my goal was to get under 200 pounds, because my highest that I weighed was 220 after having my son and just letting myself completely go. I ended up weighing 220, and when I seen that, I was devastated. Like, girl, what? Who are you? Like, there's no way I'm this big. And when I say there's no way I'm this big, that's because I've always been a petite girl. I've always been about 140. So having all that extra weight that I wasn't used to, it was hard on my body. It really, really, really was. And I didn't really realize how hard it was until I started losing that weight. And now I just feel better. I'm able to jump around and play around, roll around with my kids, and not like feel so exhausted. But and like I said, it's crazy, because when I was heavier, yeah, you feel tired, but you really don't know the difference until you just not that weight no more. But I would always say, like, I know I'm not supposed to be this. This is not my natural weight. I was never a thick girl, bigger girl, like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it was just too much on my body. And since then, I lost like 24 pounds. I'm like at 191 right now. And my next goal, since I'm under 200 pounds, is to 170. So hopefully I can share some tips with you guys, and we can just go through this journey together, because there may be other girls out here who are trying to go through the same weight loss journey, or find yourself hitting walls and just need a little bit of support, guidance, accountability. And so I'm definitely down to show you guys the progress as I keep going and get better and learn new things. I don't know if I shared this with you guys, but I am getting ready for dental hygiene school. I'm finishing my prereqs next semester. I have one more prereq to finish, and then I'll be ready to apply for dental hygiene school. So that's like super, super, super duper exciting for me. I will say it has been a challenge. I remember when I first decided to start this journey of being a dental hygienist, I was looking at videos of like people going through the prereq portion of school, and I was like, couldn't find nothing for real. But I will say, I'll talk about that in another video too on its own, but I will say that it's hard, especially when you don't come from like a science background, or you're not like a science person. It was like hard for me to like incorporate that into my mind. So I struggled, y'all, and I failed classes I felt a class, anatomy and physiology. I felt that class twice. It kicked my behind trying to understand science terms, trying to understand the material and the amount of time that we had, just trying to understand like the science terminology. It wasn't clicking. Like, what's not clicking, Steven? It wasn't clicking in my head. So it's definitely a challenge, but I will say I didn't give up. I felt like I was like, maybe this is not for me. Like, let me stick to what I know. But I'm glad I stuck through, and I'm glad I kept trying, because now I ended up passing the first anatomy. I'm taking my second one currently. Well, the semester is ending like this week. So I'm about finished with the second anatomy class that I needed, and I passed it with an A, because I literally passed all my tests with A's. And I just can say, even though it took me a while and it took me some times to fail and it took me a lot of tears that I would cry thinking I wasn't going to make it, with all of that, I found a way to like push through and truly just find a way to study and pass the test the way that I needed to, not necessarily what everybody else was telling me, yo, do it this way. I found a way that worked for me, and then I took off from there. So I'm just grateful that I stuck through it. But I'm really excited to share that journey with y'all, because after this and I get to apply to dental hygiene school, then I get to be really in clinicals and stuff. So I'm excited, and I can't wait to put that part on my YouTube, because that's so different than what I've ever done on here. But I am excited to go through that journey with y'all. So yeah, we'll wrap this video up, but that's mainly all the big things that have happened to me. I'm glad I got to catch up with y'all, but be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions that you want me to answer, whether it's about school, whether it's about life, whether it's about relationships, whether it's about the army, whatever the case may be, just let me know. I'll link or I'll put the name to my Instagram in the bio, as well as my TikTok. You guys can check me out there, or always reach out to me there. And always, you can comment down below and I'll answer any questions that you guys have. But that is it for now. Until later.